Yo, it's Tavon Greatness Patterson. Want to listen to Hot 702.5 on the go? Download the Hot 702.5 app on the Apple Store or Google Play Store if you got an Android like me.
Let's get it.
Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Cheryl Underwood, and you're tuned into the hottest news station on the planet, Hot 702.5.
Yeah, Jones, hey, Greg Deville was at it, man, hey. If you want the real, holla at Greg Deville, he'll tell you how to do it, now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville, he'll tell you how to do it, now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in, we here to help. Now tune in, we here to help. You wanna be a broker, you wanna be broke. You wanna be the joker, you wanna be the joker. You gotta bring more to the table than your hope, dreams and wishing. I can feed you fish or I can take you out fishing. I can show you the vision, addition and division, mathematic equation. Make the money flip like an acrobatic, amazing. Greg Deville help you build the foundation. I'm saying, if you want the real, holla at Greg Deville, he'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville, he'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in, we here to help. Now tune in, we here to help.
Live here. Good afternoon, Las Vegas. Greg Deville, live in the studio once again. Facebook Live. Hello to all my Facebook friends and family. Listen, we've got a great show ahead for you today. We want to talk about, as usual, right? We're in the real estate industry, and we want to talk about what we talk about. Now, as many of you may or may not know, there's an advantage to home ownership. The advantage today, well, let's do this. Let's do a comparison, right, between renting versus owning. Let's talk about that for a moment, because many of you, you're in the position where you're paying rent. I mean, you make good money. You're doing good. Your numbers are great. Your credit looks good. You know, you ride what you want to ride, but you're just living in someone else's house and paying someone else's mortgage. There are a few advantages. And first I want to talk about in renting, what we're finding here, you're paying the landlord, number one, right? The landlord is benefiting. You have a rent payment every month, and it has to be paid by the 5th of the month, right? When we talk about tax benefits, there are no tax benefits allowed in renting. Appreciation. Now, there is an appreciation when you're renting a property, right? There is appreciation there. However, the owner is getting the appreciation, not as well as the tax benefits. So when I talk about you owning or buying a property, when I say buying or owning the property, you make a profit. You make a profit from owning a home, much like the landlord is doing when you're paying the rent. The other advantage is the mortgage payment, right? In many cases, what you're paying rent is about, in some cases, about what your mortgage payment will be. So if we talk about rented versus owning, you may pay a mortgage about what you're paying. But remember, if you can pay rent, you can pay a mortgage. So keep in mind, the other benefit to owning is that there are tax benefits, right? The tax benefits are every year you file taxes, there's depreciation that you get to take off, and as well as appreciation. Now, remember, home prices do increase over time, right? Now, we're looking at a market right now where things are looking a bit different. Things are a little bit different right now. What we're finding is you're having to reduce your home price to sell. But the market is still well. Many of you got in the home market when the price, I like to say interest rates were on sale, right? Yes, interest rates went on sale. I mean, many of you I was speaking to a gentleman, they have a 1.75% interest rate, which is really, really good. Listen, I got a 2.99. Now, that's a really good interest rate. Granted, I started at 4.25. Now, the advantage, again, is when you own a home, you can refinance your mortgage. That's a great advantage for you, is you can refinance your mortgage, and in fact, you can take out a cash out refinance with up to 80%. These are advantages when you own a home. Now, keep in mind, and when you own that home, it is important that your credit scores remain above a 650 or higher, because in order to do what we call a HELOC, a home equity line of credit, it is predicated on your FICO score being a certain number, right? So if you're above that 650, 660 mark, you can take up to 80% out of your home with a home equity line of credit. Or you could just simply do a cash out refinance. In order to do that, keep in mind, you have to keep your scores above that number. Very important. Because you got the home doesn't mean to let your scores go down. Right? Now, the advantage to home ownership is the appreciation of value in a home. Where you purchase today, the home price goes up because every month you make a payment, you're buying down the principal, right? You're paying interest, but you're buying down the principal. Now, the principal means you're going to owe less than when you purchased a home. For example, I have a client right now, their payment now, they've gone down to about $260 is what they owe on the property. But they recently did an appraisal, and the property's value is worth $500 and about $15,000. Now, if they only owe, watch this, if they only owe $260, and it now appraises at $510, $515, that middle number, that 180, whatever that number is, guess what? That's a number that's your number. So if you were to sell that home, you could walk away with whatever that number is. Say it's $180,000. So if you had $180,000 in equity, you can borrow from that up to 80%. Now, when you borrow up to 80% of that, right, in a cash payment, you'll receive a check from your equity. Now, your payment goes up because you refinanced the home. This person's payment went up $100, but they were able to take $80,000 out of the property. So if you were able to take $80,000 out of your home, right? You've owned it some years. What could you do with $80,000, right? You could pay off the car. You could pay off some credit cards. You could pay some back taxes that you may owe or whatever. You could have some improvements done to the property. You can upgrade the property. If that's what you're thinking about, you want to upgrade it to the value of granite countertops. Maybe you've been considering putting in a pool, right? You could very well, you take the opportunity to put the pool in the property. There's a lot of advantages to home ownership. Again, when we talk about the tax benefits, appreciation, we talk about the mortgage payment. Now, you're making your own mortgage payment versus you're making someone else's mortgage payment, right? We don't want to continue in the vein of paying someone else's mortgage. Now, if we have a problem and you said down payment is my issue, well, guess what? We have programs available for those of you who can qualify. Now, there's several programs available out there that you can qualify for. It's predicated on your FICO score. Your credit score is very, very important. Pay your bills. Now I do have a program right now. If you have a 401k on your job, the advantage to this program is that with the 401k, you merely have to have a 580 credit score, and you can use those funds toward your down payment. That's the advantage. Use those funds towards your down payment. Guess what? Now you get a lower rate. Because if you go and use the programs that we do have available, the rates are a little bit higher. But at least you're buying it for yourself. Now, granted, you may have to, pay a higher monthly payment, but in a few years, you're able to refinance it with the on-time payments. Right? So, because here's what we're finding. Many landlords are I was talking to a landlord recently. She said, yeah, I'm going up on my property as well with my tenants. Like, whoa. But what's happening is these landlords are refinancing their home and their payments are going up. Guess what's happening? they're charging the renter for that payment increase. And now you're getting what we call a rental increase. Now, if you're living in a property without a lease, right, that's dangerous. Because if you do have to rent, you want to be into a lease. The advantage of the lease, okay, is that it's locked in for that duration of the lease. Versus if you're month to month, next month the landlord can decide he wants to go up $250. Well, there's nothing there that can hold him hostage. Now he's going to hold you hostage and say, I want $350 increase. And if you're going to stay there, you're going to have to meet that increase. However, if you go into a lease, you lock it in. I would say if you know it's going to take time to get your credit where it needs to be, do a 2-year lease. So for 2 years, you're locked in at a rate that you know you can afford. Because I'm getting many phone calls where the landlords are increasing rent and you can't afford to move because when you talk to property management, they want first, last, security, and God forbid you got a dog, right? Because they want $300 for the dog. So you running into this, you're like, wow, that's nearly $3,000, $3,500, depending on where you're renting at. So you don't have $3,500, but the landlord has decided to increase it by $300. So here's what you're going to do. In most cases, people just stay and pay the $300 because when you look at moving and all that it entails, and not to mention all the fees it costs, then you got to go out and rent the Penske truck or the U-Haul or what have you and get, your cousin, your nephew and them to help you move. And then you got to set up with their schedule that they can come out and help, right? It's a lot. So you're like, you know what, I'm going to just pay this $3 because sometimes it's just better to stay. Is that right? It's just better to stay. It's more economical, it's less stress, but it's still $300 additional, right? Especially in a market where eggs just went up to $8, right? I mean, a dozen, right? Milk's $5, right? So, with all these changes, you stay with the increase of $300. Well, here's what I want you to consider. I want you to consider contacting my team, Greg Deville, Deville Realty Group. Contact my team. Let's look at getting you in position this new year so that you can now own your own home. Away with all of this up and down, going up on the rent. Enough with all that. Look, I'm going to get you into a home. I have up to $25,000 to meet you there. Guess what? This will be towards your down payment. And we're in a market now where I can negotiate with the seller for closing costs. So I'm a master negotiator. So all I need you to do is contact my team. Let's get you set up with a lender. Find out if you qualify and if not, when. Because remember, it's never no. It's just not right now. You just don't qualify right now, but we're going to give you a game plan, right? We're going to give you a game plan, a strategy, how to get where you need to be. That's my job. My wife is telling me about a new lender call and he wants to, meet my team and he wants to be a lender. Listen, you got to qualify. You got to pass the Deville test. I don't just let any lender. These lenders have proven themselves to be qualified lenders. They've proven themselves to get the job done. Anybody could be a lender. I had a lady call me again recently and she's a new lender. Well, that's scary because you got to prove that you can close a deal. These lenders we've worked with have been in the game quite some time. So they have the knowledge and the wherewithal to close the deal. So, it's tough when you're new in the industry and I'm moving and shaking. So I don't have time to just train you and you're a lender. No. I need you to know what you're doing. I'm entrusting my people into your hands. You've got to prove you've got your business intact. So I've got about 8 lenders who've done for the past, 15 years. I've used these people. And I've been licensed since 2005, but we came through that market of short sales and foreclosures, but I've survived. Praise God, we made it, man. But we're in a little bit of a market right now that's going to be a little bit of a twist, and you're going to need to be savvy on how to make this thing work, right? Yeah, you've got to be savvy. You can't just go get a license and think you're going to get business. It's going to take work. You need to sit and be mentored how to close a deal. And a real good lender is one who, when he runs into a tragic or a dilemma, he knows how to get out of it, right? He knows what it takes to make this thing work, right? I'm not talking anything illegal. They just know loopholes that can work this thing out because there's a lot of, listen, even in the real estate industry, when I get someone who wants to work on selling their home, first thing I want to know is, what do you want to sell it for? What is your number that you're looking or you're expecting to meet? You say, Deville, I want 560. Okay, so now I'm going to come in there and say, okay, based on what you're saying and based on the market price or the comparative market analysis, here's where your value. So now, if you really want to know the truth, right, is my home really worth $560? Well, at the end of the day, based on the market comparison in your community, because, a lot of these homes, the same builder built the house, with the same blueprint. He just flipped it, right? Your neighbor has the same house. It's flipped. So when I compare apples to apples, let's say your square footage to his square footage, and then I look at what he has improved or updated or upgrades in his property and all the bells and whistles, and I compare what you've done. Now, if you haven't done the upgrades with all the bells and whistles that your neighbor maybe have done, you can't get the same price. Now, look, if he put in granite counters, laminate flooring, new carpet, new paint, had the backyard landscape, they've put money into the property. So what is that advantage? The advantage is you get credit for the upgrades versus someone whose home is still in the same state or condition from the time of purchase. So remember, any upgrades you do to your property does increase your property value. The advantage is, guess what? It's your equity. So that comes to you. The other advantage to working with Deville and the lenders we work with, guess what? Now, we got about 8 or 9 of them. I'm not steering you by any means, but you need to be with qualified. You could pick from anyone on the list, but you need to be with qualified lenders who can get the job done. They've proven themselves with skills, knowledge, and the wherewithal to get it done. And that's what's important to me, is that when I send a client, that client is either going to approve or not. And again, it's never no, it's just not right now. But here's the strategy to make it work, to make it happen, right? What is the strategy? Well, you need to, get a couple credit cards. For those of you who have no trade lines, let's say you don't have any credit. So the lender says, well, you don't have any credit to really prove your worthiness, right? Or your ability to pay. Because as I always say, no credit is worse than bad credit, right? No credit is worse than bad credit. Explain yourself, Deville. Well, at least with bad credit, I know you don't pay. But with no credit, I don't know what you might do. So now here's a person that has no credit. So what is the alternative for a person that has no credit? Well, first thing we need to do, and I was in that category back in 2014 and 15, going into 15, we didn't have credit, right? Because we had gone through this horrible market, and so we just cashed everything we purchased, and whatever we had to do, we did. So we didn't have any trade lines active. So the lender said, Deville, you don't qualify right now, but she gave me a game plan. What is that game plan? She said, I need you to get 2 credit cards, the prepaid credit cards, right? And use them and pay them. Don't go over the third of them. Use it and pay it for 90 days. She said, once you pay them for 90 days, that will give your paying account. They will start seeing what your trade line, your ability to pay back, right? So now they look at that. But now there's another thing called rental karma, right? So they contact your landlord, or you give a letter from the landlord that you paid on time for the last year. So they put that into your file. They can now use your cell phone to build a line of credit. They go, and you're not late on that cell phone, right? You might not have a phone at home, but your cell phone is never late. So your cell phone now can be used as a trade line. Your Nevada or your Southwest gas, right? The gas can be used as a trade line. Your auto insurance, right? They can use it as a trade line to show you're never late on your auto. So it shows that you've been on time. Your landlord writes a letter, yes, Mr. John Brown has been on time with his payments for the past year. So it shows your ability that you're on top of your game. So we can build a trade line from that. Okay, very important. Keep that in mind. Don't lose that, because that's what you're going to need to do. First off, is talk to the landlord, find out where you are. Find out where you are. Everybody wants to know. Listen, so we just had Christmas, right? Yes. Happy New Year to everybody. So you just had Christmas. Now what are you going to do? That's over. That's done. The trees, you're about to put, at least I'm about to put the tree up this week, but about to pack it up. Right? We've been so busy. Been in Lake Tahoe this past weekend, been at the Les Brown's conference, and so we've just been busy. But now, time to put that away. What are you going to do this year that you did not get done last year? What are you going to do different? Because you've been renting, and you've been paying somebody else's mortgage, and you paid down their principal. What do you mean their principal? Yeah, they owe $500, but in the last year, you paid, $1,200 $20,000 off that. Just add up your monthly. I'm going to start bringing me a calculator in here. But add up your monthlies. Let's say you're renting at $1,800 a month times 12 months, right? You have been paying, this year you paid $21,600 to the landlord. Thank you, Miss Engineer. So your landlord, you paid at $1,800 a month for 12 months, you paid $21,600 to the landlord. So he only owes $210. So now he's down to $190 something, right? You're paying down their mortgage. Can I get you to pay down your mortgage? Can I get you into a home with no money down? Can I get you into a position that's a blessing for you and your family instead of giving $21,600 to a landlord, right? That's where we're at. So now $21,600 times, watch this, times you've been what? How many years? 5 years. Okay. $21,600 times 5 years. You've given that landlord $108,000. Are you going to do that this year? That's going to be, so you're giving them 100, you've been there 5 years. Now we're in the new year. So if I did another year, then I did another on that 108, 21,600. I'm here another year now, 21,600. I got to write all that down, man. That's some powerful stuff. Now what am I going to pay if I stay again right now? So we were at 21,600. And I've been there 5 years. That's 108,000. Now, if I stay again to the end of the year, I will have paid $129,600. Do the math. Whatever your amount is, you pay every month. So that's some good stuff. Wow. I don't even have a pen. Yes, I do. I'm gonna write that down because this is why I'm on radio, right? Because I want to empower the community with information. So we said $1,800 a month times 1 year equaled $21,600, right? You stayed there 5 years, right? And now at 5 years, you've given $106,000, right? Now you're about to stay another year. This new year, you're about to be at 120. What's that? 129,600. Now let me ask you. We're coming into a new year. You've been there 5 years. So you paid $129,600 that you paid to this landlord when he only bought that. You've been there 5 years. Guess what? The market 5 years ago was very relaxed. So he probably paid $250 for the house, right? So if I took $129,000 from $250, $129,600 minus the $250 that he purchased it for, Miss Engineer, how much does the seller owe? Because you're about to pay his house off. You continue to stay in that landlord's house, you're about to pay that house off. So $250,000 is what he owed. He's already paid $129,600. He only owes another $120,000. $120. So now, stay there another 3 or 4 years, you will have paid his house off. Can you see where we're going here? You will have paid the landlord's house off. That's what the investor does. He buys it low, rent it to you, and guess what you do? You pay off the mortgage. So he gets the advantage of double income, right? Because he has his own home where he's paying his own mortgage and he has an equity growing. Because remember, when he pays his mortgage, that principal's coming down too. So now he has you over here, right? And I never got a letter from a landlord saying, I sure appreciate you. At least I haven't. Maybe I had the wrong landlords, right? But I've never heard a landlord appreciate you. You paid $129,600 in the last 5 years is what you paid at $1,800 a month. When do we stop the madness? At what point do we make decisions that help us create generational wealth? You're going to start creating wealth through equity. This landlord did. So he purchased a home. He put the money. He probably put $10,000 down on the house. All he had to do was acquire the title. And now he's on title as the owner. And he's going to get what they have on the counters when you go in the bank. What's in the counters on the bowl when you go in the bank? Suckers. Because when he purchased the house, he put $10,000 down. And he said, I'm going to find me a sucker to rent it and pay it off. I know it's heavy. You know, I'm Deville. I punch hard sometimes. And I make no apologies because the reality is you've stayed there and paid $129,000 in the last 5 years. I've been on radio for 8. You've been hearing Greg Deville on the radio for 8. You've given this cat $129,600. You stay another year. You're going to add to that number. So in 5 years, you're giving him 106. Now you're about to stay another year. Now that's going to be $129,600. But I'm saying I got $25,000 towards your down payment. So I need you to qualify. I need you to, this year, while you just had Christmas. Let me hold it. Let me not lose that point. Because you just had Christmas. Watch this. Now you're getting ready to get a tax refund. What are you going to do with that money? Because remember, if you stay another year, you will have given that guy $129,000 because every year you stay in that house, you pay $21,600. Every year you stay in that house. So if you've given him that much over 5 years, I've been on radio 8 years, you've been hearing me. My face is not new to you. My voice is not new to you. You've heard my voice. Somebody had a dream and woke up and said, Deville was in my head. That's right. I'm in your head because I'm coming heavy. Because I understand that's why some churches, the preacher be going in on us. Then you got those who, the Lord's going to do it and everything's going to be. No, I need you to get it together. I need you to understand right now that you've given up so much money. Now that's 5 years there. You live 3 years somewhere else. If we add up all the money that we have paid, I was guilty. I've been there. I've been on it for the last 6 years, so I can talk about it. I've been there. I stayed in the last house I rented for 3 years at $1,500 a month, and I gave my landlord $54,000. How do I know? Because I added up. And ever since I realized and I looked at that from that perspective about how I've been paying someone else's mortgage, I got mad at myself. Because as a realtor, but again, you can only do better when you know better. So if you know better, you can do better. Is that right? So that's what the Deville Talk Show is all about, is to empower, to enlighten the community about the awareness of what you're doing. Now, here's what I want you to do. I'm going to give you some instructions. Number one, when you get this tax deduction, you get a refund. I want you, before we do it, you're going to be filing in September. I know you're waiting on those W-2s to come back. Those 1099s. What you're going to do, contact my team right now, 702-787-7559, 702-787-7559. Contact my team's on, the Queen, Marquetta Deville. She's on standby to take your call. Here's what I want you to do. Contact the team, pick a lender, any lender we have, right? Because they've all been proven to get things done. There's a ton of lenders, but not everybody's really qualified. I met a guy at a class that they had no personality. I'm thinking, wow. I know you hungry for business. You don't have a personality. I mean, working with boring people, like, do you like your job? I don't know. But anyway, so here's the deal. Set you up one of our friendly lenders. Let them look at your credit. And for those of you who want to know, is it a hard pull? Yes, it is. It's a hard pull because when you went to Macy's, you didn't care that they did a hard pull, trying to get 20% off. Yes, you did. That was a hard pull. And now it's an inquiry on your credit. Are you laughing at me, engineer? Deville is something else, huh? Okay, so now you're going to let them do a hard pull, right? You're going to let them do a hard pull so that you can find out, we're going hard in the paint this year. We're not playing with this. You missed talking to me last year. You meant to call me. In fact, you had my number in your phone, but life happens, right? Forgive yourself. But this year, do better. This year, put my number in there, and I want you to contact us because not only are we going to call you back, but we're going to be calling you throughout the next couple months so that you stay focused on your purpose. Your purpose this year is not to give that man another $21,600. You cannot, at $1,800 a month times 12 months, it's $21,600. It's what you're paying. I know you like the house and you've decorated. It's not yours. You stay there another year. You've been there 5, going on 6 years at this man's house. You've paid $1,800 a month, and you've already given him so far $106,000. If you stay again another year, you will have paid $129,600. Deville is telling you, look, contact my team. I'm going to give you up to $25 to put you in a program to give you the money down, to stop giving the money to the man, and you're paying down his mortgage. I want to make you pay your own mortgage. But you're not here yet. You're not ready. Your credit isn't, it's being challenged, right? You got some challenging credit. But here's what we're going to do. You contact the team. What's that number again? It's on your screen, 787-7559. Or contact my Northwest location, 702-515-4100. Now, either way you call, you can text 702-787-7559. If you text that number, someone's there to get back with you. And guess what? Let's find out if you qualify now. If you don't, then when. Because remember, it's never no, it's just not right now. Okay, Mr. Lender, Mrs. Lender, I don't qualify right now. What is it that I need to do? And that's why lenders can't just work with Team Deville, because I need to know that you're here to educate people who call and aren't credit worthy yet. But how can I be? What do I need to do? Now, we have some credit restoration companies that we know about. A couple of them I've used over the years. Right? And so they helped me get what I needed to do to dispute some of my items on my derogatory credit report. Now, I wasn't able to dispute everything because a lot of that stuff was mine. Right? You know, face the elephant in the room, bruh. End of the day, you didn't pay and now you still owe. And it's derogatory on your credit report. But you mad at your little homie who borrowed $150 and ain't paid you back. But you got a leather coat you bought at Macy's, you ain't paid back. In fact, you don't even wear the coat no more. You might have given it away. I'm just trying to make sense of all of this. Because at the end of the day, remember this. You're going to lie down at night somewhere. Do you own the place where you lie your head to get your rest? If you don't, you need to contact me. Team Deville, Greg Deville, Deville Realty. I need to hear from you. Contact my team. They're on standby right now. Find out, if not when. Here's the advantage to this time of the year. Is number one, when you contact the lender, here's the advantage, is that you'll be able to find out where you are. What's hindering you from being able to qualify? What is it? Okay, I know what it is. The lender's going to say, hey, I need you to pay this off. I need you to dispute this on your credit report. And once you get a game plan, do just that. Now, I had a medical bill once. Right? And the insurance paid off. Somebody totaled out my car, but I had a medical bill. So I made an arrangement with the medical to pay it off. And they settled for half. So it doesn't mean you're going to ignore it. What you're going to do in many cases right now, most people don't even know. A lot of consumers aren't even aware it's illegal for them to put things on your credit report, but they do it. They don't give you ample notification, right? But they put items on your credit. These third-party collection aid, you can dispute those. But the ones that are coming directly for you, directly from, what's this new phone, T-Mobile, then you need to contact T-Mobile and say, can I make an arrangement to pay it off? Because that's a debt that's going to follow you. If you got a late inquiry, a late payment on your credit history, that thing stays on there for a minute. Not that it can't be taken off. It takes a moment, right? Because the truth of the matter is you were late. And that's what I'm saying. We got to deal with the reality and stop making excuses. Well, you know, my credit. Bruh, sis, pay your bills. And somebody don't like me for that right now. And you know what, frankly, I'm just here to give you the truth, the raw, honest truth, right? The bottom line is you paid $1,800 a month. You've been there for 5 years, and you've already paid $106,000. But had you paid $1,800 a month, and you owned a house, you would have brought your principal down by that amount because you did it for the landlord. So my petition for you today is that you do it for you, is that you stay there 5 years, you will have paid off $106,000 on that principal. So you owe less. Guess what? The landlord owes less on the house that he has a mortgage on because of you. You've been his blessing in disguise because he said, man, if I put $10,000 on this house right here, right, that he bought 5 years ago, he put merely $10,000. He probably paid $150,000, $200,000 for it. Well, in the last 5 years, you paid it halfway down. So if you decide to move, you get this revelation all of a sudden, and you know what, Deville, I'm going to take you up on it. Like many has, we've got many families through this speech that I'm giving you. And you've heard me. This isn't the first time hearing me. You've heard me talk about it. But I'm going to continue to be in your ear, to be on your telephone, on your Facebook, wherever you're hearing me live, on the internet. I'm going to continue to be right here to tell you that you're giving money away that could be in your pocket, that could be creating wealth in your family. That's why I'm here. The cold, hard facts. Because if you stay there and you've been there 5 years at $1,800, $106,000. And now we're going into another year. This will be your 6th year. Now, guess what? I've said it and I'm going to say it again. You stay another year, you will have paid $129,600 at $1,800 a month times 6 years. Are you going to continue? Or are you going to contact my team and say, you know what, Deville, I don't know if I'm ready. You may know your credit is jacked up, but how jacked up is it? That's the question. How jacked up is my credit? Let the lender pull it for you and tell you how they can help. Maybe they'll say, you know what, at this point, you just need to go to credit restoration. Right? Now, credit restoration, or you can do it yourself. We always want to let someone else do it, but you can really do it yourself. That lender that pulled that copy of that credit report, ask him for a copy. Right? Ask him for a copy. Have a meeting with him. Let him highlight the ones that you need to take care of. Because if you take care of them, your scores will increase. Now it makes you qualified for my no money down up to $25,000. Because we still have the funding available. We got millions of dollars to give away. But it's predicated on a FICO score. It's predicated on a debt ratio. Now, what is a debt ratio? It means when I look at what you owe versus what your income is, you're living at half, 46 to 50% of your income. Well, you're living in a tight spot. You living to pay bills. So at this point, if I could say this, get your own home. Now, let's say you've been 5 years, because right now with the landlord that you have, you paid $106,000 into his mortgage, right? So you reduce his value of what he owes, right? He doesn't owe as much as he did 5 years ago, thanks to you. So guess what he does? He goes out and take a refinance loan on the house. He goes and gets $80,000, and then the payment goes up $100. Let's say it goes up $200, right? So he took out $80,000. His payment went up $200. Guess what you get a letter for? I just decided to go up on the rent. What? Say it with me. $200. He took out $80,000, increased his mortgage by $200, and he makes you pay it like you've already done. Now you're at $2,000 a month. You can't afford to move because remember, moving out is going to take your first, last, security, and like I said, God forbid you got a dog. That's $300 more. So you're talking about a substantial number. And more houses are on the rental market right now, right? So there's a lot of homes, but it's being able to afford to get in them. Nowadays, the rent's so high, you got to move in your family member. Your sister got to move in with you just so you guys can have a decent house. You take the upstairs and they take the down to be able to afford a property at this time because the interest rates have gone so ridiculously high. But what are you going to do? Do you keep paying somebody else's mortgage because you feel like you can't afford a house? I just sold a home recently in the last 6 months to 4 family members. 4 family members purchased together. They weren't my people. They was my Latino community. But they realized that, look, we can stay together. It's for a duration of time. It's not forever. We together all the time anyway. I'm always at your house. You always, you know what I mean? So, hey, 4-bedroom house, 4 different families. They all went in, pitched in. Now, guess what? They're going to pay that principal down. They'll be able to pull some equity out. Somebody going to put another piece of money on another house, and they're going to move and have their own. That's how they build equity. But no, you can't live with your brother because y'all didn't get along when y'all were kids. Guess what? Then you're going to keep paying this $129,000. You already gave him $106,000. Now you're going to stay another year and give him another. Now he'll be at $129,000. Or do you say, you know what? Let's go in on the property. Right? You got your quarters, they got their quarters. It's not a lifetime, it's just for a season. Because your landlord's going up so high, paying rent and just, because paying rent is really like putting your money in a garbage disposal and turning on the switch. That's what rent is like. Can you imagine what you put in your garbage disposal lately? And you turn the faucet on and whatever it was, it just got washed away, right? Yeah, and then you turned it off and you looked in there, it was gone. But that's what your money does when you pay rent. It's just putting it in a garbage disposal. And so now you shred it, and guess what? It's done. It's done. Man, time is going by quick. So the advantage, again, to home ownership, the benefit of home ownership is, number one, you got tax savings, right? I took the liberty to write some things down. You got tax savings, right? Homeowners can generally write off the mortgage interest on their tax return. That's one benefit. The other benefit is equity. Remember, I talked about that. That's what you're doing for the landlord. He's getting the equity. Means he can borrow from the equity that you've paid into. $106,000 is what he has in equity right now. He can borrow up to 80% of that on your dime and doesn't have to ask your permission or even tell you he did it. Now, his payment will go up possibly $100, $200. All he does is tack it onto your rent. So now he got, I'm going to say it again, he just got $80,000 on your dime, and he increased the payment of the rent because his mortgage payment went up. Equity. That's why I'm trying every week on the radio, 2 and 3 times a week on the radio, to tell the community, listen, you should be in the driver's seat with all this. The other value to owning is appreciation. Watch this. Over time, the value of the home generally increases. It increases. Why? Because your principal payment decreases. Every month you make a payment, you're buying off the principal, right? You're buying it off. It's going down. You owe. I just told you about a client. If you just tuned in, I talked about a client who purchased a home at $300. They only owe $260 right now. They recently did a value increase on appraisal. The appraisal came back at $510 or something, he said. Well, at $510 and you only owe $260, that middle number, that's equity. Now you can borrow up to 80% of the equity. It's yours. So now, the appreciation over time, right? Guess what? The other advantage to home ownership is personal value, right? Owning a home increases your personal net average of 46%. It increases. This is the advantage that the landlord is getting on your dime. But I'm telling you today, personal value, it's for you. Take that equity, do some upgrades. Maybe you bought the house, it's not in the best shape, but guess what? It's yours. Fix it up over time. Have a paint party, right? Now, it's yours. Now, here's another benefit. The roots. Homeowners stay in their homes 4 times longer than renters, which provides opportunity to connect with local community. Matter of fact, you don't even get to know your neighbors. You've been there a year. You don't really know all your neighbors. But granted, over time, you get to meet your community. You get to know what's in your community. There's advantages to owning a home. So I want to get you in. I'm so excited about this information that I can't stop coming to the radio studio to talk about it. I mean, I'm paying this lady, I don't know how much, I don't even want to think about it, to be on this show every week. So listen, I want to appreciate the many of you that has tuned into my show, that has told a friend. Continue to do that for us. Continue to tell people about the Deville Realty Group, LLC, because we continue to do this, and they drawing it out of my account, it look like quickly. But guess what? I'm just being a blessing. And God keeps on blessing us. So if I can be a blessing to you or someone you know, do us a favor. Tell a friend. And let me park right here and stop for a moment to appreciate the many of you who has spoken about Deville Realty, or a family member that used us. Listen, if we've helped, tell a friend. If we didn't help, keep it to yourself, right? Because, people love to bash you. Listen. I realize we're not going to help everybody. I'm smart enough to know everybody coming through Deville, we can't help everybody, right? There's some of you, nobody can help you because you won't take the responsibility to get yourself in order. But I double dog dare you this time, you get your tax money. Find out on your credit report what you need to pay so that this year, don't do what you did in 22. 23 is going to be better. You meant to do better. So you need an accountability partner. Deville Realty is willing to be your accountability partner. So that you call us, we're going to have our lenders and Deville Realty hold you accountable. That you look at your credit report, you get a list from the lender, say you need to pay this. Now, don't go paying everything off. He's going to give you exactly what's important that the underwriter needs to see that you can qualify for. People think you got medical. Medical is not a credit. We're not looking for medical. We're looking at things that you have gotten on your credit, right? It's on your credit report. Those things you didn't pay that you meant to pay, but life happened. Now go back and pay them. Or if it's a third-party collection agency, sometimes you can dispute those collections, right? Because they bought it from whomever you may have owed. If you owed I don't want to give any shout-outs to any particular companies, but if you owe a major company, right, they wrote it off. Yeah, they wrote it off, but they sold the paper that you had originally signed. They sold it probably a nickel to 20 cents on a dollar. So the collection agency, which is the third-party management company that you see saying we're here to collect the debt, well, they bought that debt from the major company that you owe. The major company, Sprint, they're out of here now. So Sprint wrote the debt off. You owe Sprint $800, right? They wrote that debt off, but they sold the paper to CMG Management Company. Now CMG is coming after you for that 8, but listen, you don't owe CMG Management Company, right? You don't owe them, but they're coming after you because they purchased that debt. But now you can work out a payment. Say, look, if I give you $250 a day, will you just give me a letter for dismissing the payment or dismissing the derogatory item? Sure, we will. $250, you done, you got it. Now, when you get that paper, that paid in full, you want to send that to the 3 different credit bureaus. So you can fix your credit yourself. You don't need anybody to do it, but I know we're all so busy. So we have friends and people we network with who this is what they enjoy doing. They enjoy Danny. Danny was here at the studio, had a credit class and educating the community on credit. But listen, what I want you to do is contact the team. We know people that we can refer out, get that credit on track. I got it done 6 years ago, right? And it helped us boost our scores where we needed to be to get in. And that's what we want to do for you at Deville Realty. We want to help you this year, 2023. It's early. It's only the 12th day. You're getting ready to get a tax refund. Find out what you need to pay so that this year you can get my money that I have up to $25,000 per household. But if you don't make contact with the team, then I can't help. Oh, so we need to hear from you. Very imperative that we hear from you. 702-787-7559. Greg Deville, Team Deville, Deville Realty Group. This is what we do each and every Thursday right here at Hot 702.5 FM. This is what we talk about. We go hard in the paint. I make no apologies to be hard in the paint. But if we don't, sometimes I get on my kids, right, because they didn't do what I've asked them to do. And so sometimes you just say, look, I said knock them dishes out. Now I ain't going to tell you again, right? You know how we do. Well, you're my friend. You're my brother and you're my sister. So I say it with love. I go in heavy. I go hard in the paint. I say it with love. Because if you have been paying rent, and as we've been talking, and you've been paying $1,800 a month for that apartment, and you've been there 5 years, you have given that apartment owner $106,000. And if you stay there to the end of this year, and you stay there one more year before the year's out, right? You stay there, you pay up to December. This will be your 6th year. You will have given that landlord $129,600. Is what you've given your land for that 3-bedroom apartment at $1,800. It might be 2-bedroom, but it's been $1,800 a month that you've been paying. So again, 5 years, you've given them $106. This year, we make a vow to yourself before God and say, Lord, bless me. Give me the direction how to get out of this, that I can start paying into my own future and start creating generational wealth for my family and I. And get you an accountability partner that will hold you accountable. Deville Realty, we're good for that. We love to say, hey, did you get off what you were supposed to do? Did you pay it off? Well, you didn't. Guess what? You need to work that out. You need to contact that debtor and let's work it out. Let's get that payment paid in full, send it to the collection agencies, TransUnion, Equifax, and whatever that other one is. I'm drawing a blank, but we'll have it for you. We got, again, credit people who can do that for you. Get it done. All right. So look, I love you, Las Vegas, and I come every week to talk to you, to share with you, to be transparent with you, and frankly, to go hard in the paint with you. Because real love says, I want to see better for you. And in order for better for you, sometimes we hit hard. And I just got to go the way it comes. And that's the passion in me. I met a few people and they said, when they meet, oh, you're Greg Deville. Yeah, it's nice meeting you. And they said, I thought you were taller than you are. I was like, wow. I stand at 5'4", right? But they said, I thought you were. I said, it's my voice, huh? It's the passion in my voice. I'm passionate about this, everybody. I love what I do. I believe this is my God-given assignment to help community and my community do better, to start creating wealth through equity. That's what it's all about. I'm Deville Realty Group, Greg Deville. That's right. This is what we do. We help families get into home ownership with no money down. No money down. This is what we do, and I'm going to continue to do it because she's going to keep taking my money at the studio, so I might as well come. But I got to hear from you, Las Vegas. It's very important that I hear from you. Tell a friend. Listen, those of you that need to sell your home, I got to park right here for a moment. If you need to sell that home, let Deville Realty help you. We've got countless of families, equity checks where they didn't even know they could get it. But you got to act now, because if you're in more than 90 days delinquent, they may start foreclosure proceedings. If they do, we can help you with that. If you know family members, you all need probate, listen, Deville Realty, we have several attorneys on board that can help you with that probate. So don't be dismayed that you don't know what to do. Deville Realty does, okay? 702, text us, 702-787-7559. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for referring us out. Thank you for the many likes and shares and telling everyone about the advantages that are available with no money down, selling your home, or you just want to use that equity to invest. We have programs available to help, low money down programs. Interest rates are a little bit higher, but even then, we'll have a lender to negotiate the best price possible. All right. So, look, I'm out of here right now. I had a lot of fun, a lot of great information. I hope you decide to stop going around, and paying the landlord's mortgage. I want to talk to you real quick because I'm doing what is called a Wealth Mindset Conference. This Wealth Mindset Conference is in April. Very important that you log in to my conference. Go to Deville, Greg Deville page, and you'll get this information. We have a great lineup of guest speakers to talk to you about wealth mindset, because it's a mindset. You want to hang out with people who have a mindset for wealth, because it's out there for you. Maybe you're hanging out with the wrong crowd, but I'll be giving you more information. It's in April. I'm looking for sponsors. If you're looking to get on a sponsorship, give me a call. Call me directly, 702-787-7559. Until I talk to you next Thursday at 3 o'clock at Hot 702.5. Listen, may God's best be yours. Take care. Appreciate you.
Jones, hey, Greg Deville was at it, man. Hey, if you want the real, holla at Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in. We here to help. Now tune in. We here to help. You want to be a broker, you want to be broke. You want to be the joker, you want to be the joker. You got to bring more to the table than your hope, dreams, and wishing. I can feed you fish, or I can take you out fishing. I can show you the vision, addition and division, mathematic equation. Make the money flip like an acrobatic, amazing. Greg Deville help you build the foundation. I'm saying, if you want the real, holla at Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville. He'll